Hello, and welcome to the Office of Research within the College of Medicine, ORCID, and SciENcv overview. Today in this video, we will be going over how to create and link your ORCID to your UF account. Then we will talk about SciENcv, what it is, why it's important. We're going to go over logging in, linking accounts, delegating your accounts, and then give a very brief tutorial over how to navigate through SciENcv. So starting with your ORCID at UF account, UF has already released some guidance and tutorials on how to link your ORCID to your UF account. This is found at research.ufl.edu/orcid.html. They have these video tutorials. They're both less than 3 minutes long. And then they have this little hyperlink for connecting your ORCID ID. I would recommend that you go ahead and do this now, because when we go to link all of our accounts, it's going to be really helpful if your ORCID is already created. So I'm going to give a brief 5-second pause for you to do that now. All right, and welcome back. Hopefully you've created your ORCID ID and connected that to your UF account. Moving on to SciENcv, let's talk a little bit about what this is. So this is an electronic system that is really meant to house your biosketches and your current and pending or other support documents. This system not only relieves administrative burden, but I really think it gives a lot more control to you as the faculty, as a researcher. You're going to have access to see what's been updated on your account, to verify and certify that the information is correct a lot easier than how it's been done in the past. The system also has really great tools for updating biosketches and current and pending, meaning it will pretty much do it all for you, which is really nice. It's a lot less copy and paste from one form or one document to the next, or copying and pasting OMB numbers to update them to the most up-to-date information, or resorting things to the new guidance or policies. The system is really great in that way and very easy to use once you get used to it. And I briefly wanted to highlight, this was a project that was requested by the Federal Demonstration Partnership, FDP, and it was created by the NCBI, the National Center for Biotechnology Information. I wanted to point this out because this working group that came up with this idea, I think this is a really good indication of possible agencies that may end up using the site down the road, which encompasses a large amount of our sponsors. So the DoD, Department of Defense, the Department of Energy, Environmental Protection Agency, NIH, NSF, the Smithsonian, and the USDA are all part of this working group that developed this system. I don't think the system is going to go away. I think it's only going to, I guess, grow in popularity among the agencies because it is so intuitive. It's going to guarantee your information's correct and things are formatted and sorted the way they should be. This is a really great system. And then moving on to this notice, we've known this was coming for a while, but the NIH released this notice on July 31st, 2024, basically stating that SciENcv will be required effective May 25th, 2025. Not only will SciENcv be required, but you must have an ORCID ID. So again, if you need to pause, please make sure that you went ahead and created your ORCID ID and you've linked it to UF. It's going to help us down the road in this process. And this notice, in case you wanted to read more about it, is NOT OD 24-163. All right, so let's go back to the SciENcv login. If you've never logged into SciENcv before, you will have these options available. These are common logins people use. My only request when you pick whichever login that you will use is that you pick one with a username that's intuitive for someone who's not you to know that this username is you. So what I mean by that is just pick one that has your last name if possible. And I'll show you why later on, but stay with me here. And then whichever account you use, It's not that your account you log in with doesn't matter, but we're going to link a whole bunch of accounts down the road. So you're going to have many different options on how to log into your account later. So just pick the one that has the best username. You can also click on more login options, and SciENcv is very generous with the options it allows. I think it is every university possible. This is a very long list. You can search, you can log in with the University of Florida if you'd like. In fact, so here it is. If you wanted to log in with UF, you would just click the hyperlink. It's going to take you to a sign in page. So let's go ahead and do that together. So I normally log in with Era Commons. So that's what I'm going to do now. And it automatically logged me in. My computer saves my login information, which is wonderful. But here I am, I'm logged in. It should have taken me, I want to take you to the landing page that you will see to make sure that if you're following along with me, that we're in the same place. So here is the landing page. Mine has a lot more information in it than yours does, especially if you just created yours, because I'm delegated to a lot of accounts. So going back into the login, it only shows me in my dashboard your email. So for example, this person, they use their ufl.edu account. It just says CSS. That's not really clear to me who this belongs to. You can also see another example here that someone used their NSF login, which is just numbers. I have no idea who this is. I can click in and I can see who they are, but as you can see, my list and research administrators in general, their list gets pretty long, so just helping them with an intuitive username is really helpful. So before we go into the tutorial for SciENcv, we're going to click on our username and go to Account Settings. And here is where most of our work will be done today. So under Linked Accounts, this is where you're going to add in as many accounts. I recommend as many accounts as possible. The reason for this is if you forget which account that you've logged into or created on your SciENcv, I have the option of logging in any way that I choose. I can log in through my ORCID, I can log in through NSF, I can log in through University of Florida. I normally use Era Commons, but I have all of these options available to me. If I've only ever logged in one way and I forget which login I've used before and I create a whole other account, I'm just going to have multiple accounts floating around. And the way we correct this is your RA or you could reach out to the SciENcv help desk and they can actually merge your accounts for you. But to just be helpful and not have to do that later on, who wants to deal with that? Go ahead and link as many accounts as possible, especially your ORCID account. This is really important. As we just reviewed for NIH, ORCID, your ID is required on your biosketch. So please make sure that you've added in your ORCID account. And the way you add in an account is you click Add Account, you search for the account that you'd like. I'm going to search for login.gov. You click the hyperlink that you'd like to use. Again, mine saves my information, so sign in. Signing in. And it's going to take me back to account settings. Okay, so right here it tells me this was successful. I will say, because I use login.gov, it's not going to populate in the table as a linked account because it has two-factor authentication. But for any other account, it will pop up in this table. If you ever want to remove a linked account for whatever reason, you have this remove option where you can easily just remove it right here. And then moving on to delegates. To add a delegate, it's very easy to do. It tells you what it does right here. So this is giving access to your student assistant, your lab assistant, your research administrator, whoever you'd like to have access to your bibliography and SciENcv profile, which is your biosketch and current and pending or other support. This person will have access to update these things for you. And for fun, let's go ahead and pretend like I'm going to add our director. This little green check just means that she does have an account and I can delegate her to my account. I'm not going to do that, but if I did, if I clicked save, she would then receive an email, and that email would have a hyperlink where she would confirm that she wants to be my delegate. And I believe that hyperlink is only active for 48 hours. So just make sure that when you send this over to add a new delegate, that it's not, I don't know, on a Friday. So that way your research administrator or whomever you're adding has time to go in and confirm the delegation. If the link to confirm delegation times out, then you will have to go back in and you will have to re-add them as a delegate. So just be mindful of that. And then once we've done all of this, this is the bulk of the work that we needed to do in SciENcv. We've linked our accounts, especially ORCID. We've added in our delegates. These people are only going to help us in managing our SciENcv profile.